Okay, so a very good evening, guys. Can you all let me know if you all can hear me and see a screen? Yes, can see a screen. Right, good. So today, guys, is our third class. If I'm not mistaken, we missed a class last week because I was not in Colombo. I will have a cover up for you, Lamai. Not right now. I'm a little busy with the 2024 batches. They have their final seminar happening next week. So I'm a little busy with that, sorting out their tunes and all of that because they have their exams in just another 20 odd days. So prioritizing them a little. But once that is done, I will then work on having your cover up. So ideally, the plan for y'all is to finish off unit number 1 with you by this month, by November, maybe the first week of December, maybe, but somewhere around in another 5 to 6 classes to finish off unit number 1 for y'all. And then, Namai, just to let you all know, if you all are a little confused, how classes will work from this month onwards. So from this month onwards, Lamai, you will also be joining. I have told you all this last month. You will also be joining Lamai, the batch 1, the first batch, and with them, you will be learning unit number 2. So unit number 1 and unit number 2, Lamai, are not connected. So even without knowing unit number 1, you still will understand unit number 2. It's not connected. They are two different units. So on Saturday, our class at night, this time, we will continue learning unit number 1. Then on Thursday, that is where we do unit number 2, our normal permanent class time. That is Thursday night from 7 to 9 p.m. There, Lamai, I will do unit number 2 with you all. So far for unit number 2, I have done only around 2 sessions. You will get that recording as well, and then you can catch that up. I will also do that separately for you all as well. So then now in terms of the tute and all of it, now from this month onwards, you know that the class is not free. Today's class, I'm doing it for free. But ideally from next week onwards, it would be Lamai, a paid class, right? So first month was a trial for y'all to come and check and see whether you understand what I teach, whether you like things. And if you are registering, the admin would have sent you the payment details on the WhatsApp group. I saw the iTutor, there was a message that the admin would have sent. So ideally, pay the fees, send the slip to the admin. And once you pay the fees, Lamai, every month, there is a form that has to be filled. So just go to your phone and check on your WhatsApp group. The admin would have sent a message, I think by around evening today. They would have sent a payment details message with 2 options to pay and all of it. Once you pay, you have to fill that registration form every month. Every month you need to fill them. Only then for that relevant month, we will give you access to the recording and we will send you the tutes for that month. So try and do that as soon as possible so that the institute can courier the tutes on time. And also then this Thursday, you can attend the unit 2 class. So unit number 2, Lamai, is a completely new unit. We have done around 2 sessions. Our admin will give you access to those recordings as well. You can watch and catch up. And once that is done, you can get things sorted. I think the ones at Satya College, I'm guessing you all would have not got any message yet. No, I'll ask the Satya College admin also to send in the message. The ones in the iTutor class group would have got it. Okay, you can pay and register. So remember, Lamai, I'll just to quickly let you know when are your classes again. Few things to note in case you're a little confused. Don't worry. So few things that you need to note. Right, so these are the things that you need to quickly note down. Hold on. Okay. So things for you all to note, Lamai. I need a group link. The group link number is not openly shared because the free month of classes is now over. So just for you all to have some context, summarizing what I told, from this week onwards, our free classes now, my free month of classes is over. Okay, we tried a few classes out. So from next class onwards, Lama, it will be a paid class. So you need to pay the fees and register. Once you pay, you will be added to a separate group. There is a separate WhatsApp group for the paid students. You will be added to that, and then the link will only be sent in that class group. So unit number 1, we will continue as it is on our Saturday class. So Saturday, this time, 7 to 9, we will continue unit number 1. And I will finish unit number 1 in another 4 to 5 classes maybe. We'll have a few extra classes also towards the end of November. Once my 2024 batch is done, I'm a little free. So then we'll have a few extra classes and we will finish that off. So ideally by end November, let's aim and finish off unit number 1. Then unit number 2, Lamai, is not connected to unit number 1. I have done around 2 to 3 classes with the old batch, the first batch of students. So you can register from this month onwards. Once you register, so you have to pay the 3,000 class fees. You can come for both classes. You don't have to pay 3,000 in two way, just 3,000 that you will pay. And then you will get the recordings of the 3 sessions of unit number 2 that you would have missed, 3 or 2. You can watch those and cover up. I will also summarize it for you all because I have not taught you all that live. No, I will summarize that for you all also. Don't worry. And that class happens, Lamai, on Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. So you need to pay the fee and register. The faster you do it, the institute can courier your tudes and sort everything as soon as possible. Because this week also is a very hectic week because the final seminar is happening. Earlier the better. Okay. If there are any questions, any issues, Lamai, always drop me a text and get that clarified. Fine. Done. Any questions before we get into the unit? Fine. All good. Okay. So then now I will come into the unit. So today we have a lot to do, a lot to learn. So what do we have to do? How many of you all took some time, Lamai, within the week to go through what we did? Now you had a holiday also last week. Can you remember what we did the previous? Yes. Took some time, went through. Good. Right. So I'll give you a small summary also, and then we'll get started. There's a lot to do today. Okay, so the class will go until around 9:30. I'll give you all a break in the middle. We'll do a few past paper questions, and we'll see how it goes. So now, remember, we started this topic in page number 8 of your tude. We started this topic called goods. What was a good? I told you, Lamai, in economics, a good is something that satisfies human needs and wants. And along with it, it provides positive satisfaction. Meaning, if you consume a good, Lama, you feel good about it. You feel happy about it. And you feel fulfilled about it. That's what you call positive satisfaction. Or another name for this was called utility. And then I told you there are 2 types of goods. One is economic. The other one is non-economic. What is non-economic? Non-economic goods are the goods that are unlimited in supply. You have any amount of that. So goods like what? Goods like sunlight, goods like rainwater, air, those were non-economic. There is no opportunity cost. There is nothing involved. Then you have other economic goods. What were economic goods? Those are the goods that are scarce in supply, limited in supply. These goods have a resource cost. They have a opportunity cost involved as well. And then we talked about, Lamai, this converting stuff. So can you all quickly tell me, Lamai, can we convert an economic good to a non-economic? Can we do that? A good that is already an economic good, can we put it and make it a non-economic? What do you all remember? We talked about this. Can you do that? No, that can't happen. Can the other way around happen? Can we make a non-economic good economic good? Non-economic good that is unlimited in supply. Can we make it economic good? That you can know. For example, what? For example, rainwater non-economic. You purify it, do everything, put into bottle and give bottled water economic. Let's say the oxygen that we are breathing is non-economic. But you put that into a dye and give it to him in a can, then it becomes economic. So that can happen. Okay. Then after that, the last part that we did last week or the week before was on economic badges. What were economic badges, Lamai? Economic badge were Muna, anything that provided this utility. You will pay money to get rid of it. There was what? A negative price in the market. You'll pay money to get rid of that. So things like what? Garbage, diseases, pollution, things like that. Okay, that's what we did. So now continuing from that, Lamai, we'll now get into, we talked about goods now. So today's part, we'll get into Lamai, production resources. We talked about goods. Now we're going to talk about resources now. This is easy. Some of it you all know. Some of it you all don't. So what are these resources? Now, when we talked about goods, Lamai, how are these goods produced? Goods are produced using what, Lamai? Goods are produced using resources. No? So what's a resource here? Resources are called Munad Lamai. All the inputs used in what? The inputs used to produce goods and services to fulfill human wants are called resources. Goods are fulfilling human wants. To produce these goods, we have inputs. Those inputs are what we call production resources. Resources also two categories. What are the two categories? You have economic resources and you have Lamai non-economic resources. Always remember Lamai, economic means scarce. Same thing like goods. When we talked about goods last week, when I said economic goods, goods that are scarce in supply. Non-economic goods are the goods that are unlimited in supply. So here also, when you say economic resources kya the resources that are limited in supply. Limited in supply compared to your unlimited ones. So if someone asks you what is an economic resource, what will you say? You will say it is a resource that is limited in supply compared to our unlimited ones. Those are called economic resources. Then these economic resources are scarce, no, they are limited. Therefore, the usage of such economic resources will generate an opportunity cost. You all remember opportunity cost now. We learned that also, I think, last week. What is opportunity cost? The cost of your next best alternative forgone. Now, for example, in order to do this class, okay, I'm using my laptop. My laptop is a limited resource. It's an input, no? So this laptop could have been used for something else, Nilama. If not for this class, I could have used this for something else, no? So I'm sacrificing that only and taking my laptop and doing this class. So there is a what? There is an opportunity cost involved. So examples will go into more detail, right? I'm just giving an overall view. Examples, land, fuel, things like that. Then non-economic resources. What are non-economic resources? Non-economic resources are the resources that are unlimited in supply. Unlimited කියන්නේ non-scarce. They are unlimited in supply. And they are mainly gifted by nature. There is no opportunity cost, nothing. Things like what? Air, rain, water, sunlight. Now you all might have a small question for those who revised and came now. There might be a small thing popping in your head. Last week, when I talked about non-economic goods, okay, when I talked about non-economic goods, you all remember last week, the examples I gave, Balan, the examples I gave when I talked about non-economic goods are also air, water, and sunlight. Now, when I'm talking about non-economic resources, there also I'm giving you examples, air, water, and sunlight. Does that mean non-economic goods and non-economic resources are the same? What do you all think? Are the goods and the resources same there? What's happening there? Why are the examples the same, Lama? How come? How come now, if you take economic differently, now here economic resources, example I have given land, fuel. For economic goods, I gave you pens, books, things like that. Those were different. But non-economic examples are the same. Oh, what happened here now? You know what has happened here? Lamai, your resources have to go what, Lamai? For your resources to become a good, it has to go through what? For your resources to become a good Lamai, it has to go through a what process? It has to go through a process. What do you all think? It has to go through a production process, right? Maybe in a factory or somewhere it has to be produced, no? So for a resource to become a good lamai, it has to go through the production process. Then think lamai, if you take something like an economic resource, what did I give as example? Fuel, land, let's say machinery, those are economic resources. So once it goes through the production process, then it becomes lamai a economic good. Things like what? Things like pens, paper, tables, it becomes that. Fuel, machine and all becomes a pen and a paper production process. Then if you take non-economic, why did that not happen, Lama? When you take non-economic resources, those are examples like rainwater, sunlight, air. Non-economic goods also same. What was the reason, Lama? Why do you think the non-economic resource and the non-economic good is the same? Think for a resource to become a good, it has to go through a production process. So are these things, sunlight, air, rainwater, lamai, are we producing this? Is there a production process? Are we producing sunlight, lamai? Are we producing oxygen, air? No, neither. So because there is no production process, lamai, now when a good goes through a production process only, it becomes a resource. A good has to go through a production, sorry, a resource has to go through a production process, then only it becomes a good. So machines, raw materials, you go through a production process, gets converted into a good, a table, a pencil, a pen. Non-economic resources, there is no production process. The production process, and it's a gifted by nature. To make sunlight, there is no production process. So because there is no production process only, the examples are the same number. So just try to figure that out. Okay. Then what did I, just to summarize, what did I tell you all? We talked about what? Production resources. What is a resource? Resources, I said, the inputs used to produce goods. So when your resources go through a production process, they become goods. Then what are economic goods? I'm explaining again now. What are economic goods? Economic goods are the goods that are limited in supply. Limited in supply. So that are scarce. There is opportunity cost involved. Things like what? Economic resources, you can take land, fuel, machinery, labor, you can take all of that. So we'll give more examples. Machines, labor, all of that are economic resources. Then what are non-economic resources? Non-economic resources are the resources that are unlimited in supply. Like what? Like sunlight, air, rainwater. So then I told you all, how come non-economic resources and non-economic goods, how are the examples the same? You should remember what we studied last class. Last class only we learned non-economic goods. So how are the examples the same level? Then I am telling you all, the examples are the same because for a resource to become a good, it has to go through a production process. The resource becomes a good. So I'm telling you, for non-economic goods, there is no production process. Is there a production process to make sunlight? Is there a production process to make rainwater? No, those are gifted by nature. So because there is no production process, the resource and the good are the same thing. That's what I am highlighting there. Is that okay? Fine? That's the story. Then now we'll leave this economic, non-economic for a while and we'll get into something called natural resources. Okay, natural resources. What are natural resources, Raman? Natural resources, we say, are the resources that are gifted by nature. Gifted by nature. Anything gifted by nature is called a natural resource. Then these natural resources, they can either be economic, they can either be limited, or they can be non-economic first. Can you give me some examples now? Some natural resources that are economic. It's a natural resource, but we only have limited amounts of it. Can you think and give me an example? Things like what? It's gifted by nature, but unlimited limited amount only we have. Like what? Rainwater, I would say move into unlimited. Think of something even better. What about gold? Crude oil? Petrol, diesel, crude oil. Those are limited, right? Water also, maybe we'll take it unlimited if you take water and all. These metals, right? Iron, what? Copper, gems, right? All of that. So natural resource. Now take crude oil. Oil is a natural resource. Crude oil. But do we have unlimited of it? No. So I'm telling you, some are coal. So some natural resources are economic. That means limited. Some natural resources are non-economic, unlimited. We have what? Sunlight, unlimited. Rainwater, unlimited. Right? Air, unlimited. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Then, in terms of natural resource, there are two types. One is called renewable resources. The other one is called non-renewable resources. What are these? Not hard. Easy. What is this? What is a renewable resource, Lama? A renewable natural resource means something that doesn't get used up by consumption. So even when you consume it, it will regenerate again. Can you give me an example, Lama? Like what? No matter even if you consume it in a few months or a few weeks or it will grow or it will be there. Which one? What about things like we'll keep sunlight out below? What about things like my fish in the ocean? How many times now? How many fish have we ate? Think from the start of the time when humans were born. Since then, lamai හැමදාම මාළු කනවනේ. Right? You would have ate fish in the for lunch also today. But have we ever ran out of fish, lamai? Have they ever came and told in the news, don't eat fish now, now fish now eat chicken? Have they ever have you ever come across situation like that, Lavan? No, no. Why? Because they are renewable resources, Lavan. And then any trees, same story. So trees, forests, fruits, vegetables, all put to one category. What about that? Now, take the lamai, just look around you and look at the amount of furniture that is there in your house. Just look around and see right now. So right now, my table is here, my book rack is there, my bed is there on the back, right? I have a small cabinet like a stand there. Everything, lamai. For all this wood, don't you think a tree was cut down? A tree was cut down, no? Where did this wood come? A plastic, නෙවෙයි ළමයි මේවා wood, no? So, does that mean that you will run out of trees? No. They get regenerated. You cut a tree today, in another 5 years, again that tree would have grown now. Maybe in your house, do you all have any tree that you all occasionally cut the branches? Sometimes, all the color is falling and people are complaining and your neighbors are complaining that, leaves are falling to their garden and you all have problems like that. We have a problem like that. We have a tree. Sometimes the tree gets a little big and it falls into the neighbor's side. Then, all the leaves are falling. Within power, that fellow starts complaining. Then, my mother calls a fellow and cuts the thing and that happens. So no matter how many times you cut the tree, it always regenerates. That is what you call a renewable resource. So what are renewable resources here? Resources which do not get used up by consumption. That do not get used up by consumption are called renewable. These resources generate again and again. Even if you use it again and again, it will come lava. Easy prashna. Example, forestry, the forest, the trees and all. And fisheries, the amount of fish. And those are called renewable. And what is non-renewable? Non-renewable, lava. These are the resources that get what? That get used up with consumption. every time you consume lamai, the amount that you have will start reducing now. These don't get regenerated. They don't get reproduced lamai. Like what? Resources which are used up with consumption. Easy examples: diamonds, gas, gold, coal. Now, think lamai in Sri Lanka or think in the world. Earlier, what happened? Earlier, trains and all were run by coal. You know, have you all seen lamai this coal-powered engines? You all would have seen lamai in Harry Potter and all. If you all have watched Harry Potter, aka the train, those are coal-powered trains. Then lamai, at one point, the world realized that they're running out of coal. Then what did they do? They replaced coal-powered engines with what powered engines now? Coal was replaced with what? Trains. Now they used fuel, no? Mainly they had diesel and those powered ones, petrol, diesel powered ones. So from coal, they moved into like diesel powered engines. Now they realized that diesel is also running out. Then what did they move now? Now what are the latest trains running on? Coal in the diesel gear. Diesel in the now what? Now the trains are running on electric. Electric trains. Now in the future, they are also talking about hydro-powered ones, right? Not batteries, but powered on hydro now. With water, you can run this. So why is that happening, Lavai? Why did that evolution take place? That is because these resources are running out near them. Now, if coal was always regenerating, then you would have never moved to petrol. If petrol and diesel are always regenerating, you will not move to electric. No? So that is what you call another non-renewable resources. Resources that get used up with consumption. So which one of these now you have to be more careful when using? Renewable and non-renewable. Which ones do you have to preserve and be careful when using? The non-renewable, no? Now renewable am I fish hammer. You don't, when you're eating fish, when you go catch fish in the sea, you're not thinking, no, your next generation might not have fish, mama fish carrot. You don't think of that, no? What do you think? You eat my prawns, I aravaki, I butter fried cuttlefish, and all of that is there. But renewable, shape, non-renewable, you have to be very careful. But a parisaving, you have to use all of that. So then there is what happens when you overconsume these resources? Can you convert non-renewable to renewable? We don't talk about somewhere, but we'll think, can you convert non-renewable to renewable? Difficult, no? I doubt. We'll think. Maybe I'll also think at home and see if you can. We don't talk about anything like that, but maybe think and see. Then what happens when you overconsume these resources, natural labor? See, your global warming. Global warming means now temperatures and all are rising. Then ozone layer gets damaged. Then water scarcities. Then natural disaster. Now, why do you think, Lama, in these all hill countries, why do you think there are landslides? Because our people, in a mountain, we have itself cut the mountain and built roads and built houses on top of it, and that is why there is a landslide now. So when you overuse these resources, there are negative issues. So that's a little bit about Lama, the natural resource side of things. Is that okay? Same. Natural resources are anything gifted by nature. Broadly, there are two types: renewable, non-renewable. Renewable means it doesn't get used up with consumption. Again and again, it will get renewed. Non-renewable means it gets used up with consumption. You have to use these carefully. That's the broad message. Safe, nothing hard. Then, now we'll get into this. Get into what? I told you there are two types of resources: economic, non-economic. Non-economic, unlimited sunlight, rainwater, yeah, it's right. Nothing more to talk about that. This economic resources, the resources that are limited in supply, now we will go through that in detail. These economic resources, you know what, this is what you call your four factors of production. මතකද? You all learned this in, I think, in O levels. Well, if you are not done O level commerce, don't worry. But most of you all would have know. You all learned one of the four factors: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. And that is only this. So here we will go a little bit more in detail than what you have learned for O levels: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. So now, if you take these economic resources or your four factors of production, they can broadly be classified into two. Before going to land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, also you can broadly classify it into two. What are the two? You can classify them into property resources, and human resources. Can you all guess and tell me now? From land, labor, capital, before I explain or before I tell anything, you all know the land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. From those four, two are property resources, two are human resources. I feel the human is easy. Which of those four, from those four, which two are human resources? Can you all guess and tell me? I have not even taught you. That's okay. Think and tell me. Which two do you all think are the human resources? Labor definitely human. That's our mental and physical efforts. Now, okay, what else? So then you have land, capital, and entrepreneurship left. Which one do you think is the other here? Entrepreneurship, no? So entrepreneurship is a person. Entrepreneur. Yeah. So labor and entrepreneurship are the human resources. Which one is the property resource? Property resource is the other two. The land and the capital. Land and capital. They are called property resources. So you can broadly classify your four factors like that as well. That is what I have given here in this first paragraph. So now we'll go through each one of these in detail. So in my today's class, I want to go through all of this and finish until page number 14. That is my target for today. Okay, that's a lot to do. But these are not 100% new things for you all also. So I can go a little fast. Not that you have never heard about land labor. You know, I will build on that, right? So that's the target for today until page number 14. So what do we have left for today, Lamai? To talk about these four factors of production. It's much more than what you all learned for O levels. But the basics you all know. Okay, so where are we now? We are in page number 10 now. Target is to finish until the end of page number 4. Once we finish, I will finish the class. So class can go finish early, can finish late, whatever time. I will finish it when I finish until 4. So now, what is land? What is land? Land we say are the monad, are the natural resources. They are scarce, they are limited. Economic resources can be limited resources. So what is land? Land is the limited resources that are what? Gifted by nature. Gifted by nature, but limited. Like what, Lama? Like, for example, here, forests, minerals, oceans, they have a questionable. Maybe you can even cut off oceans. Wild animals, elephant, for example, for transportation, Lama, you might use an elephant. That is land. For, let's say, for sometimes you use, let's say, a buffalo or a cow, right? Under land. So you might, okay, for example, Ambeville farm. There is what? Cows. Cow is called a natural fellow. He is not a human being. So you'll put all of them under what? All of them under land. So what is natural? What is labor again? Labor, what is land again? All the natural resources gifted by nature, the scarce ones that are used in the production process. So now we'll talk about the characteristics. So I have given some lines under this level. I am not dictating a note. I will explain certain things, write certain things on my screen. You can make your own short notes, scribble and do things. That's why I have given a line. I'm not dictating anything. Feel free to use those lines. Okay. Number 1. What does this mean? Being a gift of nature. What does that mean? That is easy enough. Land is a gift of nature. It is not made by man. Gifted by nature. God made. So, not man made. That is easy. Now we'll go to a more difficult characteristic. The second characteristic of land is supply being inelastic. Let me put the touch on that. Is take a rubber band. You all know a rubber band. Yes, a rubber band is elastic to inelastic. A rubber band. Elastic to inelastic. Rubber band එකක් ගත්තා. A rubber band is more elastic නේද? Why do you call it elastic? ඇයි rubber band එකක් elastic කියන්නේ? Why is it called elastic? Because you can do what? Why is it called elastic line? Because you can stretch it, right? You can easily change it. No, you can stretch, you can change the size of it, you can, do whatever you want. It's stretchable, it's changeable. So elastic means can change easily. You can pull and can change easily. Then what is inelastic? If elastic means can change, inelastic means can't change easily. Easily you can't change. Inelastic. So I am saying, Lamai, the supply being inelastic. What does that mean? That means, Lamai, the amount of land. Okay, what does the supply being inelastic means? The amount of land available cannot be increased easily. Now, can you easily increase the rivers that you have in your country? Can you easily go and increase the number of trees you have? It will take time, no? You can. I'm not saying it is impossible to change. I'm not saying that. I am saying it is difficult. It's hard to change now. You can't change it easily. Even if you want to increase the number of trees in your country, you have to plant trees. In 5 years, it will become big trees now. So it takes time. Even now, can you all of a sudden come up with a new river? Yeah. That's why we say supply being inelastic. What does that mean? That means the amount of land available cannot be increased easily. Not like a capital. A capital take raw materials come. Raw materials now you can increase in a factory produce can do that. Now take my tubes will. If I want tubes, I will tell my printer, print and give, he will print and give, I will increase. But land you can't do that. Okay, that is number 2. Then number 3. What do you all think this is? I want you all to guess, Lava. What is this geographical immobility? What does that mean? We are saying geographical immobility. I'll help you all out. The phone that you have, okay, the phone that you have, Lamai, why is this called a mobile phone? I nikang phone the mobile phone. What is that mobile? Why is it called a mobile phone? Think me. I mean, everyone is saying mobile phone. Why is it called a mobile phone? It's a mobile phone. Why? Because you can take it around, right? You can move here and there with that, no? Wherever you go, you can take it. And that is what mobile means. You can move it around. Then what is immobile? If mobile means you can move it around, what does immobile mean then? Immobile means no, you cannot move it then. You can't move. It's difficult to move. So then what do you think this one is? Number 3. Land, I am saying, Lamai, geographically immobile. Can you move a tree from one place to another place, Lamai? Can you take a big tree from Colombo and put it in Kandy? Can you take a river that is in Jaffna and put it in, I don't know, Rinkumal? Maybe something like animals can move, but in general, if you take land, Lamai, immobile. That is what that means. So that means Lamai, land cannot be moved. So when I say land means not a plot of land, land, I'm saying all natural, the trees, the rivers, everything. So land cannot be moved from place to place. That is what this means. Then number 4. Number 4 is saying, Lamai, possibility to improve productivity. What is this productivity? We'll talk about. Yes. If I come and tell you all, Lavai, I had a very productive day today. What do you think I mean? What am I meaning? When I come and say I had a very productive day today, Lavai, Mara day, I had a very productive day. What do you all think that I would have done? It's like a very useful, I didn't waste my time. I did a lot of things, no? With the amount of hours I have, I got a lot of things done. Maybe I made the tudes, printed the tudes, I got this, I got that, I did my office work. I got a lot of things done. That's what you call productivity in a you got a big output from your input. That's what productivity is. So then can you all tell me, okay, how can you improve the productivity of land? I'll just give you all example. Okay, let's say you have a small plot of land. Small plot of land, let's say you have a one perch plot of land. Very podi. This small plot of land, or let's say your front house garden, if you have. Okay. Let's say in this plot of land, I'll give my example, then you can give me an answer. With this plot of land, let's say it's a small plot. You have three trees planted, three small trees. Let's say three some vegetables. There is no space to plant more. Only three you can plant together. A small plot of land. You have planted three trees. That's it. I am going to ask you, with this same three trees, same land, how can you get more output? Let's say currently these three trees that you have is giving you, let's say these are chili. These are chili. Let's say mango. These are mango trees. Let's say these mango trees are giving you, let's say for a month, they are giving you 10 kilos of mango. My question is, with this same three trees, the same plot of land, how can you improve the productivity of this land? How can you get, let's say, 20 kilos of mango? How can you improve the productivity? Can you practically think and tell? With the same amount of space and all I have, no. So no space to plant more trees. No. In the same space, how can I get more? I want to get 20 kilos of mango. I'm not happy with 10. I want to improve my productivity. Okay, watering them somewhat fine. Think of better ones. Think of better. Think of better ones. I would say the most easiest one is what do farmers put? Farmers not done. Fertilizer, pohora. And first thing you can do is what? How can you improve productivity of your land? Taggara the fertilizer. So to all my plants, and I will put fertilizer, pohora. If not for this, maybe sometimes a lot of mangoes are coming in my tree, but these pests are coming and eating that, and I don't get the mango. Then what can I do? And I can use pesticides, right, to stop the pest coming and this panu coming and eating my mango under the pesticide. Then also my out. And also, do you all know this, you can also have these hybrid crops now. Do you all know this, have you all seen these bud plants that are there? These small plants that gives a lot of fruits and vegetables. Bud gaskian. Have you all seen these bud plants? Like mango trees, same. It's a small plant, not very big. You all have seen a normal mango tree size. It's not a that big one. It's a normal one. In a small space, you can do that. What are those? Those are what you call hybrid plants. Those are genetically modified. So in a lab, they have taken the, I don't know how, I don't know the science behind that. They have taken the mango seed and done some adjustment and something. Those are bud plants. So isn't that an improvement of productivity? That is the level. Now, normal a mango tree with the plot of land, maybe you can plant only one mango tree. But with this bud plants now in the same plot, you can plant three. See, that's improvement of productivity now. And I'll give you a story that I learned in university. We learned this in development economics. Okay. So very interesting story how this productivity thing improved. Now, have you ever realized now when the population level compared to let's say 200, 300 years ago, World's population has increased. When the population is increasing now, people want more food than more food. Earlier now, right now, our population here around 8 billion people. 200, 300 years ago, maybe around 4 billion, 5 billion. Population has doubled. So population double can double the food now. All of us have to eat now. And also population increasing means what can you say about the amount of land available for farming? What do you think? The amount of land that is available for farming. Now, when the population is increasing, what happens? These bare land are cut off. They build houses, right? That is what happened. Now, people need a place to live in. So population has also increased. The amount of land available for farming also has gone down. So there is a product snack there. No? So will you run out of food then? More and more people are wanting food. Population is rising. Amount of land available to produce those food, to do the farming also is less now. So will you run out of food? That can happen. There could be a food shortage now. So you know what happened? So this problem was something like not something new. This was something like identified around 100 years ago. So people identified, look here, the world can get into a food shortage because population is rising, amount of land available for cultivation is coming down, there could be a food shortage. So you know what happened now? If you take, you all know now this paddy, I'll give you an example of the paddy. Okay. This paddy plant, this paddy plant earlier, it's a plant that easily gets what? Easily gets pests come and eat it, right? Easily it gets destroyed. Easily it will catch like a disease. It's a very vulnerable crop. And let's say with one paddy plant, very little amount of rice only you can get. So, in order to solve that problem that I told you, population rising, amount of land available coming down, you know what scientists did now? So scientists got together and they took, what? Different regions had different types of paddy plants. For example, the South Asian region, like a paddy plant is different from the paddy that is there in, let's say, US. It's different from the one that China will cultivate. So what they did is they took all these different paddy plants, they combined it. I don't know how they did the science, I'm not a scientist, right? But what they did was they took the characteristics and combined that and made a stronger paddy plant, a stronger one that doesn't easily get affected for diseases. That is a very strong plant that with one plant that gives you a lot of amount of paddy. So now that is what is cultivated around the world. So that is what, again, even the right now, the paddy plant that is cultivated even in Sri Lanka, it's a one, now it's not made in a lab. Originally, it was made in a lab. It was combined with multiple other paddy plants around the world. They took the stronger characteristics of all of it and made one. And then they planted that. Then from that plant, whatever seeds come, it keeps on growing. So that's how they solved it. All of that is munada. All of that is improving the productivity of your land. So land can have your trees, your everything. So those are things that you can do. Just have a basic kind. Don't have to memorize these lines. Remember examples, remember my story. That is enough. Then that's also fine. Then the next one. Characteristic number 5. I'm saying Lamai, non-uniformity. What is that? All of y'all wear something to school that is called a uniform. Why do they tell you all to wear a uniform? Why is it called a uniform? Why can't they call that anything else? Why can't they call that a frock? Why can't they call that shirt and trousers? Why is it called a uniform? Because it's the same, Everyone is wearing the same thing, right? That's why now it's called a uniform. Yeah, equality. What is non-uniform? If uniform means same, non-uniform can not same. Right? So what is this? So we are saying, land is non-uniform. Land is not the same. So one river is not the same as another river. One tree is not similar to another tree, Lama. So that's what we are saying. So you can say land differs from one another. One tree is not similar to another tree, Lama. One river is not similar to another river. It's different. Okay. And then the last one, Lama, you don't have to give this a characteristic though, but you can say, Lama, the payment for land being rent. What does that mean? That means, Lama, if you provide land as a factor of production, the money that you get in return is called rent. So I'll give you an example. Let's say, Lama, I have a cow. I own a cow, my pet cow. Whose pet cow? My pet cow. My pet cow, Lama, let's say I gave him to the Ambevela farm. My pet cow, I gave the fellow to the Ambevela farm. What does the Ambevela farm do with my pet cow? Ambevela farm, they keep my pet cow and they take milk from the fellow and they sell that milk. So for using that's my cow, Lama. For using my cow every month in return for using my land. Land means natural resource. Cow is a natural resource. For using my land, for using my cow, every month they are returning here. Let's say every month they are returning, they are giving me, let's say, 10,000 rupees. They are saying, Arshad, thank you for your cow. We are still using your cow. We are getting the milk out of it. Here, for using your cow, I am giving you 10,000. That is what you call rent level. The return for land is called rent. මේ house rent නෙවෙයි. ඔයා ගෙදර ඉඳගෙන you pay your landlord ඒක නෙවෙයි. Did I visit the farm recently? Yes. Not very recently, though a couple of years ago. That's why probably that stories are coming. Okay. So that's the thing that the return for land. If you provide land as a factor of production, the return that you get is all right. For the word, what can I say? The maximum amount of the land. Possibility to improve productivity means from the same amount of land, how can you get a higher output? That is what productivity means. Now, when I say I have a very productive day, that means with my same 8 hours of day, or let's say 24 hours of my day, how can I get more work done? That's what productivity is. So here, fourth one, with the same amount of land, how can you improve your output that you get? That is what that is. Getting the maximum output of the land. Right. Is that okay, Lavai? Land and what is land and what are the characteristics? Don't memorize these, Lavai. Ara khata wage remember. Yes, like increasing the lead. Got it. Then land is done. We have 3 more. Now we'll go into labor. මොකක්ද මේ labor කියලා? Labor is what, Lavai? Labor is the physical and mental efforts of human beings that are used in the production for the physical and mental efforts of human beings used in the production. Remember, now, labor is not the person. Now. Labor is the physical and mental efforts of that person. Now here I am shouting, giving you all some examples, shaking my hand, raising my hand, using my voice. And that is only labor. I am not labor. My physical and mental effort is what we call labor. Yeah, good to know the definition now because they might ask you to explain. Then you have to give the keywords and explain. And what are the characteristics now? Easily. Number 1, being a life factor. Life factor means he's a living one. Machine never life factor, living. So what does that mean? You are a living being. B-E-I-N-G. Then number 2, mobility. So what is mobility level? Now here there are 2 types of mobility. One is what we learned before. So one is geographical mobility. So we say this one is geographically mobile. If you take labor, I don't work at the same place. No, if I want, I can do this class in US also. Same Zoom class. I can do it in US, so I can do it in the Amabel farm if I can do it, right? That is geographically mobile. And also occupationally mobile. Now, what is occupationally mobile? So do you think, Lamai, that teaching is my only occupation that I can? Is that the only thing that I'm skilled to do? I can do something else. I can stop teaching. And Lamai, I can move into another. I can stop teaching and do something else. Give me a second. Uh, I can stop teaching. Go and do something else. Maybe start my own business. Sorry, recently, I don't know if something that I'm very passionate about. I don't know if you all saw. I would have shared in my status. I don't know if you all saw my status. So I've not saved most of the contacts. Little by little only I'm saving the contacts. So recently, I started not me, me with a couple of friends. We started a online bookstore. So we always wanted more than me, my other friend, right? So she wanted to actually have a bookstore. So we started a small bookstore, right? Not a physical one. It's an online one. So there is fiction, those romance, the aka story kind of books. There is also non-fiction. Non-fiction is like the self-help, personal development, those kind of things. Not much. So we found a supplier from abroad. We sorted out things. We made a website. We made things. We did that. So what is that, Lamai? Occupationally mobile. I don't have to only be doing classes till if not for classes, I can do something else. While doing classes also, I can do something else. That is called occupational mobility. So labor is geographically mobile and occupationally mobile. Clear? You can do at different places. You can work at different places. You can do different jobs also. Anything is fine. Then number three, heterogeneity. You all study this now in science. You come up across this word, homogeneous, heterogeneous. Grade number grade 10 or 11 I know, or maybe even before that. What is heterogeneous? What is that? I don't know, very technical terms. Means it's not identical, no, not the same, right? It's different. No, that is what it means, no? So don't you think, Lamai, your physical and mental efforts are different, Lamai, from me, my physical and mental efforts? Your efforts are not the same as my effort. Maybe I am good at teaching. That's why you're learning it from. Maybe you're good at something else, Lamai. So you have different physical and mental efforts. I have different physical and mental. That's what you call heterogeneity. Similar, non-uniform. Correct. Ah. Then improving productivity. How can you improve productivity of labor? Through education, training, you can improve the productivity of labor now. So why do you all think Lama, you all are doing A levels? You are doing A levels so that you get educated. Why do you all Lama, sometimes after university or after A levels, why do you all go and do an internship, a training and all of that to improve your productivity, Lama? So you can work better later. So you can improve productivity of labor by providing what? Education, training, work experience, all of that helps. Then others are easy. Possibility of decision making and organization. So if you take labor, he is a human being. So I can make decisions, I can organize things, I can do. And finally, we say payment for labor being wages. If you provide your labor, what you get in return is called wages. The money you get in return is called wages. Right. Can we say like adding value to the fourth one? Adding value in a sense, yeah, somewhat similar, but how to get more work done in the same. Is that okay, Lavan? The basic characteristics are not hard though. Normal, shape, okay, once just remember a few. Then Lavan, the size of the labor force depends on what? If you take Lamai, in a country, there is something called I'll come to anything you on Islam, I'll come to it. Give me a second. So the size of labor force means the amount of people. So labor force can what level? We'll study in unit number 11 now. Labor force means the amount of people who are willing to work. That's what you call the labor force. Willing to work in a country. So in a country, how many people are willing to work? That's called the labor force of that country. So the size of your labor force depends on what term? Definitely depends on the population, right? In Sri Lanka, there might be 10 million people willing to work. India, there might be 100 million people willing to work. Why? population. And also the size of your, it's not just the population now, it's also the age structure. Now see in Sri Lanka, let's say we have 20 million people, but let's say now all 20 million are small kids from grade 1 to 5. Our Sri Lankan population, everyone in grade 1 to 5, 20 million parents. Will we have a labor force? No. So it's not just the population, it's also the age structure. And what if our 20 million are old people, all people above 70 and retired fellows? Do we have a labor force? No. So it's not just the size of the population, also the age structure. That's one factor affecting the size. Then number two, Lama, is the health. Now, good example, Lama, COVID. But now during COVID, with the lockdown and all, no matter how much people we had in our country, Lama, was anyone fit enough to go and work? Let's say all of you all got COVID. Will you be willing to work? Can you even work? You might not even be able to get out of bed. So, health of the population. Yes, how many of y'all think that you got COVID but never went to the doctor and checked so that officially you did not get COVID during that COVID time? You felt sick. You most likely thought this should be COVID only, but you never went to the doctor because you know if you go to the doctor, the fellow will tell you to quarantine and different case. You'll never come across that. I also had that, right? So I went on this. So that was my university times, right? University times. I was a part of road track. So I was the president of the club at university also. So we had this Jaffna visit. Okay. So this COVID time, everyone told us not to go and all. So we went to Jaffna road track, like not a trip really. It's called a fellowship visit for installations and stuff like that. So there was around 50 people, 40 or 50 people, no more, around 60 people, two buses. So two buses for 3 days, we went to Jaffna. And then when we were coming back on the third day, I was like almost in the in the bus. I was almost, no, I realized, okay, I'm so sick. Like, it's like even the normal AC is like very cold. I know I feel like I'm shivering. And somehow I got home. And then for the next 3, 4 days, 1 week, I was in bed. And then what happened? I never went to the thing to test. And I got some medicine from the pharmacy and waited. Now, apparently, some other fellows in the bus also have fallen sick. Now, those fellows now they have gone and tested. They have gone and tested. And actually, from that 60 people who went, around 38, if I'm not mistaken, tested positive for COVID from the 60 fellows who went. Now, I am in the other 22. I got sick, officially not tested positive. Why? I never went to the hospital. I never went because when the fellow comes and he will tell you to quarantine and this and that and all of it. I somehow survived. And I can't remember if I did my classes or not, but I somehow survived during that week. And there I am. So coming back to my point, if you are not healthy, right? If you are sick, you can't be in the labor force. That is the second determinant. And then third, the level of education. No matter how much people you have, no matter how healthy they are, if those fellows are not educated, if those fellows don't have the skills, they can't get anything done. So the size of your labor force depends on all of this. Just have a basic idea, not a very important. Is that okay? Someone had a question for the last one under land. The last one is the payment for land being rent. That means if you give land as a factor of production, the money you will get for it is called rent. Like, for example, I had a cow. My cow I gave to Ambevela farm. Cow is animals. Animals are natural land. So I gave my cow to Ambevela farm. Every month they are giving me 10,000 rupees. So that 10,000 I get. The name for that 10,000 is called rent. The return that you get for providing your land. That's the last. Then we'll come into capital. Capital. What is capital? We say capital are the man-made aids. AIDS may not the sickness, yeah. Man-made aids used in the production process or man-made aids used to produce goods and services like what, Lama? Machines, buildings, furniture, used for what? Equipment, used to produce goods. So whatever this, it's made by man, it will aid in the production of producing goods and services. In economics, money is not capital. We don't consider money as capital. We'll come to that line. Aid means helps. So it helps. So whatever that is made by man, that helps in the production process. Electricity, yes. Money is not capital. We'll talk. There is a part that I think the next page the not here. Here. Note number 1. Money is not considered as capital. We'll come to that when I come there. Okay. So I'll do this small part, Lama, and then I'll give you all the break before going into the types of capital. Okay. So what are the characteristics? Characteristic number 1 is easy. Characteristic number 1 is it's a man-made thing. That means not gifted by nature. People have made it. That's easy. Then number 2, being a real factor now. Anit factors are fake factors. What is real factor? We are saying it's a real fact. Real factor means it is something, right? It's a tangible, physical thing. That is what a real factor means. It's something that is tangible, physically there. You can see it, you can touch it, you can, feel it. That is what we call a real fact. A tangible, real thing. You can touch and see and feel and do all of it. Then, third, that's interesting. Being a stock factor, or we call it a stock concept. What is the stock concept? So let me take some time to quickly summarize. Listen carefully. In economics, there are 2. One is called a stock concept. Okay. The other one is called a flow concept. Not exactly can be stored here and never. It's a little different. You will see. Yes, a stock concept is, you all will understand this. Can be measured at a given point of time. Can be measured at a given point of time. A flow concept is can be measured, or you can cut the can be part, measured for a period of time. A given period of time. I'll give you an example. I know you all don't understand that part. Okay. I'll give you an example. Take my monthly salary. Some of you all would have tried to calculate. You would have thought, this fellow has this much students, he's charging 3,000. Now we'll multiply and think, my monthly salary. Now, tell me which one is correct. Can I say my monthly salary for the month of October is 200,000 rupees? Or can I say my monthly salary as at, let's say, 25th October, 5 p.m. is 200,000 rupees? What do you think? Do I give it for a period of time? Do I say for the month of October is this? Or can I say exactly right now, my monthly salary as at 2nd November, 8:13 p.m. is 200,000 rupees? Which one? Is it the first way or the second way? Is it my monthly salary is it my salary for the month of October? Is it my salary as at 2nd November? So that first way, right? Salary you can't say exactly at this point my salary is this much. Exactly at this point my salary is this. You can say my salary for this period, for this month is this much. So then is it a stock concept or a flow concept? What do you think? Based on what I have written, salary. can be measured at a given point of time or measured for a period of time. Salary. Can you exactly say at this point my salary is this much? Stock or flow? Salary is a flow, right? Think. For the month of January, that's a period now. For the month of January, my salary is this much. Okay, we'll take wealth or we'll take my bank balance. What do you think? Can I say my bank balance for the month of November is 100,000? Or can I say my bank balance as at 2nd November 8:15 p.m. is 100,000? Which one? My bank balance for the month of November is 100,000. My bank balance as at 2nd November 8:15 p.m. is 100,000. I can't say for a period, right? Because now my bank balance is always changing. When one of you all put the class fees under bank balance very well. When I pay for my printing place under bank balance adu well. So bank balance is always changing. So I can't say any bank balance for the month of November is this much under bank. But that I can say exactly at this point it is this much, right? So that is what Lavai. That is what you call a stock concept. So your bank balance, or in other words, now my wealth. So I just wealth. That is a stock concept. Exactly at this point, you can say when the method appear, I have this. I'll give some other examples also. Now, you all will understand this more in detail. A few more examples now for something like a flow concept is like a country's GDP. Now, usually, GDP means the total amount of goods the country has produced. So we say, Sri Lanka's GDP for 2023 is 80 billion for 2023 for a period of time. You can't say that Sri Lanka's GDP as at 2nd November 8:15 p.m. is 80 billion kiyanna bane. For a period is what we say. At a point you can't. That's it. Okay. Then what about capital now? Capital is the man-made ends. What do you all think? Can I say now right now, Lama, I have a laptop, I have a chair, I have a table, I have a few capital items that I'm using to this class. Can I exactly say at this point I have this much of capital? Or should I say for the period of this much, this is my capital? What do you all think? Okay, forget about my will. Think of a factory. A factory is machines. A factory has machines. There is a factory that has machines now. Think of a factory that is sewing clothes. They have machines. So that machines are called capital. Can you say that the factory had 100 machines for the period of November? Or can you say exactly at this point they have 100 machines? Exactly at this point you can say, right? Period kiyanna bෑ නේ. The number of machines can change every day. Today you had 10 machines, maybe tomorrow you bought a machine. You have 11. Day after tomorrow, one machine broke, I 10. Another machine broke, I 9. So can you say for the period of November you had 10 machines banned? But exactly at this point, I can say how much of machines I have. So that is what? That's a stock concept. That is why we call capital a stock concept. You can measure exactly at this point how much we have now. Yeah, it can be fixed, but it doesn't mean it's always fixed. If you take machines now, it can change. Go up, go down. Take your raw materials. Take a factory that is sewing clothes. Cloth is a raw material. Can you say for the month of November we had 100 meters of cloth? One day they might have had 500 meters. One day they have only 50 meters. Another day they have 20 meters. You can't say in the month of November we had 500 cloth. But you can say exactly as of 2nd November, this time we have 500 meters of cloth. So it's a stock concept. Exactly at this point, you can say how much you have. That's what you call a stock fact. GDP means gross domestic product. We learned that in unit number 5. Flow concept means measured for a period of time now. Now, for example, okay, if you take, okay, let's say Sri Lanka's exports. Okay, Sri Lanka's exports. Exports means whatever we sell abroad. Can you all tell them like Sri Lanka's exports? Okay, at 2nd November 8:19 p.m. is 100,000. Sri Lanka's exports. You can say for a period, right? Sri Lanka's exports for the month of November was 100,000. So if you can say something, just to summarize it again, if you can say something exactly at this point how much you have, that is a stock concept. Exactly at this point how much you have. Yeah, capital is a stock level. So raw materials, all of that will be a stock concept. Exactly at this point, how much you have, you can tell now. If you go to a factory, you can tell, okay, exactly at this point, they have 10 machines. That's a stock. A flow is something that you say for a period of time. For example, like your salary. Number of goods available in stock. Stock, yes. Exactly at this point, you can say how much you have. Okay. Then something like my salary. I can't say my exactly at 2nd November 8:20 p.m. my salary is 100,000 yen. Ben, I will say my salary for the month of November is 100,000. So how is capital a stock again now? I think because capital now, what are capital? Your machines. So don't you think if you go for a factory, don't you think you can say exactly at this point how much machines you have? You can go to a factory that is printing, let's say making clothes. You can count and see, okay, as at this time, this much of machines they have. So you can say exactly at this point how much you have. That's what you call a stock concept. It can't be a flow now because the amount of machines you have might change every day. Today you might have 10 machines, tomorrow you might have 5 more. Maybe 2 got broke. So you can't say no, for the month of October we had 10 machines. Can ban. Some days you had 15 machines, some days you had 12 machines, some days you had 5 machines. Might be different. But exactly this point you can say, right. Is that fine? Stock fact. Then if you take something like a machine level, it doesn't get used up again in one time. So for example, number 4, I'm saying possibility to use in production again and again. I remember my after A levels, I found my first job. I worked for around 4 or 5 months. I collected money and I bought my first laptop now. That I think I would have told you all that story. So that first laptop that I bought is what until last year. So this is back in 2018. Right? Until last year I was using. I still have that laptop. It's still working. I use it very carefully. It's still working, but it's a little slow now. So now I upgraded to a newer one, but it's still working when I want. I on that laptop take some files what I want. It's still there. So what does that mean now? I would have done so much of classes with that laptop. And I can still use it again and again and again, right? That is what we call possibility use in production again and again. And it doesn't get used up one time. Okay? Then number 5, but it will depreciate. Do you think that laptop that I bought in 2018, do you think the value of it, do you think the performance, the speed is the same that it is now? No, no. It has got depreciated now. Value has gone down. Slow, getting stuck a little. Some keypad might not work. Sounds might not work. My sounds are not working in that. Is your laptop also same now? Right? Does your sounds work? Or does your sounds, my sounds have like grrr, like a buzzing, like a robo noise? Do you all have speaker like that? My sister's laptop also same to her. Sounds doesn't work well. Any of your laptops? Uh, the sound is like a like this thing. You have to wear an earphone or something, or then it will work. So that's why depreciated now. The value of it has gone down. Like things don't work, it's bad. Okay. And then the last one, the return for capital is interest. If you give your capital as a factor of production, the return you get is called interest. Now, be little careful now. Now, in real world, you put money to a bank, you get interest. This is not that. This is now, let's say, for example, I had a building. I gave that to a production firm. I rented it to a production firm. The money that I get from it is called interest now. I gave capital. Building is a capital. I gave it. The money they give is called interest. Interest කියන්නේ මෙතන bank loan interest නෙවෙයි. Bank interest නෙවෙයි. The money that you get, the return that you get for providing your capital is called interest. So if I give my building for someone to use, rent it out or give it on a lease, the money that I get is called interest. In economics, it's called interest. In the real world, we will call it rent. In economics, we call that interest. Return for capital is interest. Okay, that is that. Is that okay? Fine. Say not that. Okay. Then now I will take a small 5-minute break. And after that, we'll come into this Lamai on the types of capital that is there. Not a very important part, but just to know a basic idea. There are different types of capital. Fixed capital, circulating capital. There are different types. We'll take a small break, then come back into this. Okay. So break until Lamai 8:30, get some water and come. Sharp at 8:30, I will start. So we'll go till around 9:30 today. Take a break. Okay, so now I will come into the types of capital. So there are different types of capital. That's what is there in the previous page. So we'll go through each of these types of capital one by one. Just get a basic idea and also understand that, for example, if you take something like a building, it can be a part of different categories, right? It doesn't have to only be a part of one category. So it can be under different things. Now, for example, okay, let's take, okay, we'll take Cargills. So you can put Cargills under a private sector business, under that category. You can take Cargills and put it under, let's say, a large business, that category. So one business lamai can be under different categories. And just like that, lamai, any capital can also be under different categories, right? Then what is fixed capital? The first one. So fixed capital, we also call this real capital or physical capital. What is this one? This is the most basic form of it. This is what you call the durable capital. The durable capital that is used in the production process continuously. Things like what? Factories, machines, your store, any equipment, furniture. Those are what you call durable capital or fixed capital. Or in other words, we call it real capital. So if someone comes and says, look here, what is fixed capital? That is the durable capital that you will continuously use in your production process. Like what? Machines, buildings, factories, things like that. Then the second one. Second one is called circulating capital. You know what is circulating capital? Circulating capital is the raw materials, the amount of raw materials, the semi-finished goods, and the finished goods, and the finished goods that you have. I'll give you an example. If you go to a cyber kadela mine to buy a kottu, now, and why is this circulating capital important? This circulating capital, why should a business have raw materials, semi-finished goods or finished goods? For what purpose? So that you can smoothly carry out your business process. No? Now, okay, before I go to the Kottu example, we'll take another example of my classes. Can you all tell me, what is my circulating capital? I have certain amount of finished goods with me. If someone pays and registers, I will send that for you all. What is that? I have some finished good with me that I already have. If someone pays and joins my class, registers on a Tagala, I will send that to the student. But my tunes, no, mainly that is circulating capital, right? Do you think, Lamai, every time a student registers, I call my printing fellow and say, "May take a tute එකක් ගහලා දෙන්න පුළුවන්ද? Can you print one tute and put in the file and send me?" Do you think I print one tute every time one of you also? No. If I do that, lamai, there will be a huge delay in my class. No. Every time one of you all pay, I will call the fellow. 10 minutes later, another fellow has paid the fees, again call them. Then you can't do that. You can't smoothly carry out your production process. So therefore, what do I have? I have a set of tubes that I have already printed and kept. The moment you all pay, under that gets couriered. Sometimes now directly, most of your tubes now, main tubes directly come from the courier place itself. They itself directly courier. So why? Then only my activities happen smoothly. And do you think, take my printing place, do you think my printing place, every time I send a tube to print, do you think then they go to the shop and buy paper and come? Buy ink and come? Every time a new order comes, they go to the shop and buy paper and ink and come? No. They already have paper. They already have ink. They have their raw materials with them. So what is that helping, Lama? That raw materials, those semi-finished goods, the finished goods, is making sure, that's what you call circulating capital, is making sure, Lama, that your business runs smoothly without any delays. Coming back to now my Kottu example. Have you all seen, Lama, when you all go to buy a Kottu, right? Do you think, Lama, whoever who is making your Kottu, right? Maybe a little hungry now also. Whoever who is making your Kottu, Lama, does he make the Kottu right from scratch? When you go and order the kottu, at that time only is he making the putting the flour and making the roti and cutting the roti and then making it to kottu. Have you all seen that big basin the fellow has with all the cut paratas? Have you seen? He has a big basin with all the roti cut small pieces. He has a basin. Have you seen the same thing with vegetables? Whatever the vegetables he puts to the kottu, do you think when you order kottu only he cuts the carrot and cuts the leeks? No. He has another basin with all the carrot, or all the carrot cut and put. He has another basin with all the leeks. You go and order the kottu, what does he do? He takes a bit of roti, damma pan. He does it. He takes some carrot, takes some leeks. So what are those, Lama? What is that cut kottu? Semi-finished goods. That kottu, the cut roti, the roti that he has cut and kept. It's not a raw material. Raw material means flour. It's not in the form of a raw material. It's in the form of a semi-finished. Now, why is that helping, Lama? Why is that important? Because if not for that, Lama, just think how delayed your process would be. How much of time it would take to make a kottu. Already, Lama, when you go to a cyber kade, the fellow takes around half an hour to bring a kottu sometimes. So many people are packed. That is after having this roti cut and kept like. Imagine me when you come only the fellow is going to Kade to buy the flour and then the flour can make a roti and roti a couple of making the kottu. Can't work like that. No? So that's the story of circulating capital. His stock of raw materials used in the production process, the stock of semi-finished goods, and the stock of goods being produced, and the stocks ready for sale and finished goods are identified as circulating capital. And here they're saying this type of capital is important in continuing the production process without any barrier. For the smooth functioning now, you need to have circulating capital. Just think, if you can't remember any example, think of my class level. What will happen if I don't already have printed tubes? Every time a student joins Lama, I can't print a tube. So I have a set of tubes I have printed again. Maybe if those run out, I will print another set now. Otherwise, another set printed tubes I have. Now, when I printed Lama, the unit 2, last month only, I started unit 2 for batch number 1. So batch number 1, there is around 100, yeah, I think around 120 or 130 students. But I printed more tubes Lama, because I know this month your batch is also coming. You all will also join. So last month itself, I printed unit number 2 tubes for you all also. So now when you all pay the fees, now these days you all are paying the fees. Once you all pay the fees, Tankar tube gets couriered. You pay today, tomorrow tube gets couriered. Then within 1 or 2 days, tube will come. Now, if I have not done that, if I don't have that printed tube already, then what happens? Then you pay the fees. I call my printing fellow and say, look here, me lamai pastenek fees givala. Can you print a unit 2 tube 10 give? Then tomorrow another 5 people pay. I call again and tell print another 5. That's going to delay it, right? So that is why circulating capital is very important. That's the second. Then the third one. The third type of capital is what you call like economic overhead capital. Easy way to remember economic overhead capital is remember Lamai, our former president, the Mahinda Rajapaksa. He is famous for this. Economic overhead capital Lamai are the capital goods that help with what? That help with the production and distribution of this. Helps with the production and distribution. Roads, highways, airports, harbors. That is what you call economic overhead capital. It's easy when you have a highway, tankala goods tika distribute karanna pulawan. You make in gold, tankala 1 hour walin kalam. Soon move the raw materials around. So it facilitates the production and the distribution. So you import your raw materials from China, it comes to the Colombo port. Tankala Colombo port taking highway ke dala. You send it to Hambantota factories there. Then from Hambantota it goes somewhere else. Then it gets exported. So easily you can produce and distribute goods when there is munad, when there is economic overhead capital. So in Sri Lanka, my recent time, highway okkoma handuwe kawuda? Your Mahinda Mahathaya, no? So example, ports. Ports means harbors, airports, highways. What's the economics behind it? The fellow would have robbed all the money. That's a different story. But what's the economics behind this economic overhead capital? Why does a country need economic overhead capital? Because only if you have economic overhead capital, you can attract investments to the country. When you have a proper harbor, a proper airport, a proper road network, a proper highway, then my foreign firm will come and invest in your country. Then let's say a foreign company will come and start a factory in your country. Then only it's easy for them to send their export their goods or whatever. If you are a country with no proper road, haven't a proper harbor, will foreign investments come? Will your local firms expand and start investing? No. So that's why economic overhead capital is very important. So here I'm saying economic infrastructure affects, encourage domestic and private investments. Due to this, the governments of most countries provide this type of capital. This roads and all of it, private sector, I don't go and make a highway. Highway government. That's because why? It's important to attract investment. That is economic overhead. The capital goods that facilitate what? The production and the distribution of goods. Then what is social overhead? Economic overhead is the capital that facilitates the production and distribution of goods. Social overhead can happen then. Social overhead, these are the capital goods that help to fulfill a basic human need. A what need? A basic human need. What are our basic needs? We have needs like, for example, healthcare, education. So, for example, a school. A school is what? A school is a building, right? What is it for? To provide education. A library, providing education. So, those will go under social overhead capital. The capital goods. A building is capital, a library, a school is capital. It is helping with what? Helping with educating the people. That's a basic human need. So, capital goods which help produce services to fulfill basic human needs are called social overhead capital. You see examples, buildings in the education sector, hospitals in the health sector, operation theaters, medical research centers, even drainage lines. Just think all the dirty water in your house, where does it go? May toilet take all what you do and may whatever you all wash in the sink at your kitchen and you have a drainage line. Imagine that drainage line is not there. Imagine all the dirty water of your house is inside your garden. So basic human need, living, having a clean, nice environment, living in a clean, healthy place. So if you don't have a drainage line, lamai, everything that you do is inside your land again. So those are all social overhead capital. These drainage lines, schools, libraries, hospitals, they're satisfying a basic human. Is that okay? Are we okay with the first four? Lamai? See if you all have any questions. Fixed capital, circulating capital, economic overhead, and social overhead. So, fixed capital, once again, no? Fixed capital means the durable capital goods, the capital goods that you can use for a long period, like machines, buildings, equipment, that's what we call durable, the fixed capital. Then going into Lamai, human capital. What is this? Yes, human capital is, okay, human capital is Lamai, what we call the skills, the education, the training that who has, that the labor has now. That's what we call human capital. Now, why are you all here in this class? You're here in this class now to improve your human capital. So human capital is what? The skills of the labor that consist of what? The education, the amount of training that they have, their research, any experiences, a favorable health, all of that, which helps with what? Which helps to improve the productivity of laborers are called human capital. So in basic words, what is human capital? The knowledge, experience, education, let's say any research that they have done, favorable health of the people, all of them is what we call the human capital. A good example is Lamai. Take a job application. Sometimes in job applications, Lamai, no matter how much you have studied, they always ask what? Work experience. Maravel. When you see a job application, hamadama 1 year work experience preferred. 2 years work experience preferred. Some big roles, 10-year work experience. Why? Can't you just go to that job and learn? Isn't your degree or A-level enough to do that job? Why are they saying work experience? So, because they know, someone who already has worked, done things like that. What? Their human capital is high, They have the experience of getting that done. Now, if you want, sometimes to get a manager post, after A-levels, we'll manager when the in A-levels, you will study business studies. If you all are doing, you all will study types of managers, you will study. But that doesn't mean you can become a manager. You need the experience now. You will start as an intern. You will little by little only become a manager at one. So that's what you call human capital, the knowledge, experience, and all that you have. Are these definitions tested usually mostly in MCQs? It's test. I'll show you all the types of questions. Okay. Then coming into Lamai, natural capital. What is that? So natural capital, Lamai, we say are natural resources such as land, streams, air, paddy field, waterfall, all are natural capital gifted by nature. Nothing big there. I can just have I. Yes, these are not very important ones, so I'm just going a little fast, right? Basically, have a basic idea. I'll show you the question. Then the last one is called social capital. And this is not really a tangible thing. This is you know what is social capital? Social capital are the institutions, which improve social interrelations. What is that nonsense? Example, in your school, you all have clubs and societies. What are these clubs? And also, if you all are going to school, please be a part of one of these clubs and societies, right? I'll tell you, it makes a huge difference in what you do. Okay. Because not these clubs and societies, you all don't be a part of it. May CD not to get this in your leaving certificate. Or that is not why you should be a part of clubs and societies. Why you be a part of clubs and societies is, I'll tell you how useful that thing is. Okay. When you're a part of these different clubs and societies, it helps you lamai work with people. It helps you understand people. I'll, a good example I can give you lamai at university. I told you earlier, I was the president of the road track club of our university in our faculty, University of Colombo, management faculty lamai. I was the president. So when I was the president lamai, there was around 392 members in the club. 392 people were in the club. Imagine how much of a number that. Sometimes your school itself might not have 392 people. So all of them, I'm responsible of getting the work done for them. Different batches. First year people in now, second year students are there, third year students are there. All different ethnic groups. Muslims to Tamils to Sinhalese to Christians, like people from Colombo, people from Kandy, Galle, Jaffna, Batticlo, all different parts in the country. So how do you get all of those people, Lamai? 309. Now, in your school, you will have similar likely-minded people, Lamai. In your classroom, Balan, all of you all are coming from Colombo, somewhat similarities. But at university, Lamai, it's very diverse. From the social status, for your family background, where you live, your religion, your languages you speak. Some people don't know English now. Some people don't know Sinhala. And so many problems are. So how do you get everyone to work together? That is what it builds now. So this club, societies and all of it. So it builds what? So this club and so it's not a tangible thing now. It's the institution, like these clubs and societies, the institutions which help improve social interrelations. Like what? These memberships of clubs and societies, these different social networks, those are what you call social club. And I would definitely encourage them, please be a part of something. Not for your CV or not that just because you are in a club, may job but that teaches you, Lamai, teaches you how to work with people. Some of you are Lamai, alone, you're brilliant, right? If they give you a test or something, you can get 100 out of 100. They put you into a group to get activity done, Lamai, you can't do. You get pissed off. When some people are saying something else, but you want to do it this way, you can't handle. You're like, no, you go, I will do it my way. When you're working in a group in the world, you need to listen to others. You need to see what others have to say. If, let's say someone comes on, when I was president at university club again, sometimes these people who newly joined the club, juniors, they come and give different project ideas. They say, we'll do a project like this. Sometimes I practically know it's not possible. We can't do something. We don't have the money for it. But I don't put that fellow down. No. I don't say, what a piece to the do we have the money? We don't do that. What do? You have different people from different coming and giving crazy ideas now. They will say, we did a lot of interesting projects, right? And that's something that I'm very proud of that we did during the year. We broke that barrier. Usually at uni, road track was more like only the posh people in Colombo joined road track. That was that thing. But during my year, we broke that. That's why the membership, which was, we had to like 100 people. In my year, it went to around 392. Because I thought, not it doesn't have to be just the posh people. Everyone should be a part of it. You don't have to be able to speak English to be a part of a club. And the ideas that came in Lavai, so many people, like when people start opening up, like crazy ideas for projects, Lavai, so interesting, so innovative that I would have never even thought of by myself. So empowering those people, Lavai, you can't now, even when you're working in a group, some fellow might come sometimes crazy idea, Lavai. You don't cut the fellow out and say, now what happens then? If you say, what happens? He doesn't feel valued then. No? He's like, these people don't care about me. What happens? He is not active in the club. Few months he has left and gone. That's what happens, right? So learn those Lamai. It's not about just getting your marks and scoring a 90 out of 100 right? So social capital. I'm telling you, I'm just giving you a bit of life advice. Be a part of it. And also, Lamai, this even in schools, when you are part of these clubs and societies, Lamai, you all learn how to type a document. Some of you all lamai අර තාම හරියට document එක type කරගන්න බෑනේ. Typing a document doesn't mean looking at the keyboard and typing letters කියන එක නෙවෙයි ළමයි. Can you format a document nicely? Do you know how to format it now? Some of I know you know to type. You can type the letter space one, enter one, that I know. But can you nicely format it? Do you know how to put a text box? Do you know how to add a header? Now, for example, okay, think of this tweet. Can you type something just like this tweet? Can you format it neatly how I have formatted? Do you know how to add that footer? Do you know how to add the header? Do you know how to add the picture nicely? How to balance it nicely? Right? Can you do that? Some of you all can't learn. You will learn that through all of these clubs and societies and all of them that you are there. So definitely be a part of it as long as you can. It's not just your marks that matter at the end of the day. So what coming back, Lama, what is this social capital? These are all these institutions, these clubs and societies. Even Lama, your prefix guild, you all have a prefix group, in your this. That's social capital, Lama. It helps you to manage things, coordinate things, organize events, and that. So all of that is what we call social capital. This Lama is still a very new concept. So Tama people are researching this and trying to come up with how it actually helps with the this one and all of that. Yeah. Is that okay? Right, so we'll just take a bit of a break to get into some questions now because there's too much of talking that I have been doing just to break this whole thing. We'll try a few questions if we can. Okay. So let me come into a few questions. Take this thing. I might not finish until page number 14 also because I feel it might be a little too much. We can take. No worry, we have enough and more time left. Okay. Okay. This one is a tricky one, but I want you all to think. Okay. 2011 A-levels question number 4. Yeah, think very carefully. Which of the following is an example of a natural resource? Natural means, Lama, it has to be gifted by nature, not man-made. Gifted by nature. What do you think? Victoria Dam, Hambantota Harbour, a paddy field, a poultry farm. Poultry, the chicken and all eggs, poultry farm. And Dunedin waterfall. Which one do you think is completely nature, gifted by nature, not made by man, Lama? Most of you all are correct. Others, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which one is a natural resource? Right or wrong, give me an answer. I have around 28 answers. Which one's the answer? Which one's completely gifted by nature? Number 5, right? A waterfall. Waterfall, my humans don't make, completely gifted by nature. A dam we have to make. Harbor we have to make. Paddy field we have to make now. Paddy field is not gifted by nature. Our people are cutting and applying it and putting the seeds and growing it. A farm also people. What are all these then? 1, 2, 3, 4. These are what? If it's not land, it's you can put this under capital. Man-made. You can put all of that under capital. Okay. Most of you all got it correct. Then my question number 5. We learned this last class. If you all revised and came, you all can tell. An economic good is one which has an opportunity cost in production, is one which does not use up resources, is supplied competitively, makes a profit, is available even at a zero price. Think of what is the most correct one now. We did this last class. Are you? Never. Give me an answer. Which one do you think now? An economic good is what? Look at my tube. Note and see what have I given as a characteristic. I'm saying an economic good is one that has life. Economic goods are we call limited in supply. And also there is a opportunity cost now. So 5 is number. Good. Then we'll look at another one. Did we do this? No, right? 2012, number 5. A free good. Free good is the opposite of a economic. Free good can have non-economic goods. No, that's another name. Has which of the following characteristics? It has no opportunity cost in supply. It is generally supplied by the government because consumption is considered social desirable. It has no externalities associated. It is perfectly inelastic supply. Its production is subject to law of diminishing returns, not hard law. Free goods examples: sunlight, rain, water, air. With those examples, you think which one do you all think? 1, 2, 3, 4. These are actual questions. ඉතින් මේව කරගන්න පුළුවන් කියන්නේ LLS paper එක තමයි මේ. That's one. Number 1, no? Something that has no. Now see ළමයි අර එකම question එක නෙවෙයිද exam එක change from 2011 to 12. 11 එකේ ළමයි. In 11 they said what? They asked you economic good. Answer was has opportunities. Opposite of economic good is non-economic. Goods that are unlimited in some. Answer was no opportunities. Okay. Then, okay. 2014 question number 3. This you all would have made a note next to your this thing also. And you all tell. Out of the following, choose the correct answer that shows the correct features of an economic good. A. Existence of a production cost. Production cost means a resource cost. Existence of an opportunity cost. Consumer has to bear a cost. Existence of decreasing marginal cost. Look at your tut1 and commander. You would have even made a note in next to your tut. I would have said something like this is not a characteristic here. I would have told. Think and tell me which one do you think is your answer? If you revised it, you should be able to tell. We learned this last class now. Last class came now 2 weeks ago. But the matter because you have not come to class. What do you think? One, two, three, four, 5. Around 60% to 70% of you all are correct. Some of it are wrong. Okay, shall we go one by one? Economic goods lavai. Tell me yes or no. Existence of a production cost. Is there a cost to produce economic goods? Yes or no? Yes, lavai. Production cost එකක් තියෙනවා. Economic goods, do they have an opportunity cost? Yes, no, that is what your first MCQ we did today. Economic good is a good. Your answer was a good with that has an opportunity cost. So, yes. No, C. That is a tricky one. I would have made you all write this down as well. I don't know if you all wrote it down. Consumer has to bear a cost. Is that a characteristic? Does the consumer always have to bear a cost? Now, not take this class that we are doing now. Have you all paid a class fees? You're the consumer. You're not paying a cost. Forget about the courier charge. So, class fees give you came for free. You learned. Now, are you telling me that this class is an uneconomic? Unlimited in supply, gifted by nature? These are economic good. I am using my money. I printed my tutes. I am sending the tutes. I am talking here on a Saturday night, which I could have done something else. Definitely economic good. But even though it's an economic good, are you bearing a cost? No. So consumer might bear a cost, might not bear a cost. So bearing a cost or paying a price, I told you. I think, did you all write that down, my mother? Your that's right. I told you all no. Consumer has to pay a price is not a characteristic. This is not a characteristic because you sometimes might have to, sometimes you might not have to. Okay. Then existence of decreasing marginal cost. We'll study marginal cost unit number 4. But did I tell you anything like that? In my tutor, was there anything like that saying economic goods have decreasing marginal cost? I mean, they will give all unwanted things. If I have not told you, that is not the answer. Now. So then can't be. There's nothing like that. So then which one is your answer? A and B. Be very careful. Okay? Right. We'll do 2 more. Yeah, then we'll call it a day now. Tired also. Okay? We'll do 2 more and call it. 2016 question number 5. I would have taught this to you all around 15 minutes ago. 2016 question 5. The term human capital refers to what is human capital? The labor resource used to make capital equipment, buildings and machinery, the skill and knowledge endowment of the labor force, entrepreneurship and risk-taking ability, labor force employed in the health and education sector. What is human capital? At least look at your Q1 and give me answer. Come on. What's human capital now? Is human capital the labor used to make capital? Is it the buildings and the machines? Is it the skills and the knowledge? Is it the entrepreneurship and risk-taking ability? Is it the labor force employed in the health and the education? Which one? Make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at your Q1 and give me an answer if you can't answer that. Human capital is. And some people are giving a very weird answer for something. What's human capital? Human capital is the knowledge, the skills, the experience, the favorable health that your labor force has. No? So answer number 3. Some of you gave me number 5. I'm not sure if you confused it with social overhead capital. In social overhead capital, I said the capital used to what fulfill the basic human need, education, healthcare. Human capital is not the capital employed in the health and education sector. There's nothing like that, right? Human capital can the knowledge, the skills, the experience that you all have, that the labor has. So 5 is number 3. Then one more. I have not taught you all this fully, but can you give me an answer? This is the year that I did my A-levels. Baba type of question. Question number 1. Which of the following is not a factor of production? I told you something. Someone, when you all asked me, when I explained capital, you all asked me, sir, is this capital? I said, nah, this is not capital. I will teach you all later. Note every, I said, I will come. What is that? Not a factor of production. Natural resources, human resources, capital, money, and entrepreneurship. What is not a factor of production? I didn't teach that to you all yet. I will teach that to you all next class. Don't worry. But which one? If you are listening, what is not? The one that is not is money, right? I told you all money is not capital killer. So money is not a factor of production in economics. Now, it definitely can't be 3 or 5. Now, 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurs. capital entrepreneurship is definitely factors. It's got human resources are only broken down as labor and entrepreneurship. Then that is also a factor. Then natural resources, that is also there. Land and all are natural resources. So I thought, what factors? Money is the one that is. Okay, so we did 5 MCQs. How did you do out of 5? At least 3, 5 out of 5 perfect. At least 3. I would say you were listening, you're somewhere there. Definitely can, not just a level, can go more than a. Less than 3, you need to work a little bit. You were shy and did not give an answer. That's another problem. At least 3, I would say you're somewhere there. Good. Because there were things that we learned 2 weeks ago. That means you have taken time to revise. There were things that we learned today. That means you have listened to what we have done. So this is our actual A-level papers. It's not hard here. If you properly listen, properly stay on track, not just econ. Other subjects also same. Now, for O levels, what happens is, I'll tell you now, personally, I know a lot of teachers care all. Their teachers care all saying A levels is very hard. May O level wage නෙවෙයි. O level wage මේ මේක පාඩම් කරලා A level කරන්න බෑ. Have they told you all things like that? Yes, school teachers or whoever other teachers that you are going. I'll personally tell you now, A levels is much more easier than O levels. I found it much more easier than O levels. Because now you only have 3 subjects. You're doing the subjects that you like. Okay. The content is big, I agree. There is a lot. But now I'm lazy focus. There are connections between the 3 subjects. It's very easy to focus because you only have 3 subjects, right? Maybe today, if you allocate this, tomorrow you can allocate for another subject. Within a week, you have around 2-3 days to go through the same subject also. You have 9 subjects. If you study one subject today, you will study that subject, let's say, 10 days later. Then for a whole month, you might only study that subject 3 days. Too difficult. A levels now, the trick is to stay on track. You daydream and in 6 months you come, let's say at start a game, you are not a part of a class, so school also you have missed. Then now 6 months later you come. A level content is big. 6 months later you come. Now you are not sure what is this. You're lost. That is where A levels go wrong. If you properly plan it out from the beginning, little by little, you get work done. It's way easier than it is. It's all about how you plan and get things. I'm telling this to you because you're still in the start. I won't tell this to a person who is doing A levels in another 20 days. He will be like, mono nonsense. The O levels I did well, now A levels I'm lost. You will be lost, if you don't stay on track. So, not just econ, your other 2 subjects. You need to know what is happening now. School, class, whatever. Take time to go through what you all did, then go to the next class. And those things have to come from your end level. I can't come and sit next to you and make you open your tute and go through. You do that, trust me, you will do it. Okay, so proud of how you all handle these 5 questions. You got 5 out of 5 perfect, 4 brilliant, or even 3, you're still very, very good. Less than 3, please take some time to stay on track. Okay. So with that, I will call it off. I want to do until page 14, but I feel it's too much. We don't have to rush too much and borrow it. So I will leave it at that point. From wherever we stopped, we will continue next class. So take some time, go through what we have done so far and come towards the 20th of November. I will have a few extra sessions also because my 24 batch is done. Then I don't have classes. I can't just wait. I also put some extra classes. So we will have some extra classes towards the end of November and get things done. Okay. Recording, I will upload it on YouTube. Please, for those who are registering, pay the fees and register. See you. Bye-bye. So questions, stay and tell.